Hey guys, hope y'all are doing well this morning. We are going to start a new series today. It's just a 1 week series on our words. And so it's like I have questions about different kinds of things, and this one is about words. So, what do our words do? How do they make people feel? We need to be people that pay attention to the power of our words. So this morning we're going to learn a little bit about that. So, have you noticed how much attention your words get? Since we were kids, we've been taught this classic phrase, sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never hurt me. We were told that words don't hurt, but we all know that they actually do. So think about a time that there were words that were powerful, that they affected you. And so I remember being a kid and having a friend say something funny to me, or that they thought was funny, but really what they said was super hurtful to me. And I had a hard time processing, like, I know they're trying to be funny, but that actually was not super kind. So I think we've all experienced something like that. And not only are people doing it to us, but we're often doing it to somebody else. And I know for me, sometimes I think my joke's the funniest and I want to get a good laugh. And sometimes it's at the expense of someone else. So it may be true that words can't physically harm us, like in that saying, but the emotional hurt that words provide us can be really, really bad and really, really harmful to us. And so, isn't it true that there's more going on than just the words that are spoken? There's something deeper down inside of us that's causing us to say those things. Maybe we're insecure, or maybe we have been hurt, and so we want to hurt somebody else, or we want to cut somebody down because we feel like they deserve it. So it's never just about the words. And most of us have people that we look up to in our life, and those people have said something derogatory or hurtful to somebody around us, and we're like, what are they saying about me when I'm not here? And we discover that words actually shape the way that we think and the way that we feel about other people. And we have to come to the understanding that words are powerful. What we say and what we do with the things we say have so much power behind them. We've experienced that in our personal life, and we've experienced that in the world around us, like in the media and everything going on in the past 2 months. We've experienced some very strong words that have caused some very strong reactions, and people have done certain things in response to those words. And we have the potential to do a lot of damage with our words. We can do a lot of lifting up, but we can do a lot of tearing down. And so, believe it or not, right now, we're in the midst of understanding how intense our words actually can be. So we're going to look at a letter this morning in the book of James. So it's written by a guy named James, who actually happened to be Jesus's brother. And when you read his book, he just kind of tells it like it is. Like, he doesn't beat around the bush, and he doesn't try to sugarcoat anything. He's like, this is what it means to be a Christian. And so he's super honest, and it has a very strong voice about the power of our words. And he starts out in chapter 3 of James by saying this. We're going to look at James chapter 3, verses 3 through 5. So if you want to grab your YouVersion app or pull out your Bible, you can pause it if you need to. But in James chapter 3, James says this. When we put bits into the mouth of horses to make them obey us, we can turn the whole animal. Or take the ships as an example. Although they are so large and driven by strong winds, they are steered by a very small rudder wherever the pilot wants to go. Everybody's tracking with me? James is talking about the power of one small thing can have over the large whole. So the rudder of a ship seems like the small thing, but it actually controls this really, really big thing. So he continues and says, likewise, the tongue is a small part of the body. Consider what a great forest is set on fire by a small spark. The tongue also is a fire, a world of evil among the parts of the body. It corrupts the whole body, sets the whole course of one's life on fire, and is itself set on fire by hell. So that's chapter 3, verses 5 and 6. So see what I mean when I say James doesn't hold back? He says it like it is. So James is not saying that your tongue is evil, like what comes out of your mouth is evil. But he is saying that your tongue is powerful. What comes out of your mouth, your words that you say are powerful. And we get that our words are powerful, but James, does he give us any good news here? Because it seems kind of all bad news. Is there any hope for what we should do about it? And James says, not really. But in verse 8, he literally says, no one can tame the tongue. And so, we can't be in total control. But the good news is his letter doesn't stop there. He goes on to talk about wisdom and how that is connected to humility. And on the other hand, he says that you find things like envy and jealousy and selfishness. You find all this kind of bad stuff. But then he says this in verse 17, he says, but wisdom that comes from heaven is first of all pure, then peace-loving, considerate, submissive, full of mercy and good fruit. So it says, it says, impartial and sincere, peacemakers who sow in peace reap a harvest of righteousness. James is basically saying that when we only look out for ourselves, things don't always go super great. But when we humble ourselves and look out for others and go after peace, our lives reflect those things. So think of it this way. When we plant an apple seed, we grow apples. It doesn't matter how badly we want oranges, we're going to grow apples. Why? Because that's what we planted. And in the same way, when it comes to our words, we get out what we plant. So think of it this way. Pay attention to the power of your words. When our words are full of selfishness and jealousy and pride and talking down to others and being unkind and seeing people as less important than they actually are and not worthy of love or value, we are planting disorder. We are making things unorganized and out of order. But when we are planting good things, when we are planting things that bring life, we want to grow wisdom. We want to have peace. We want to be merciful and kind. If we're interested in living lives that are full of those things later, then we will start by planting words that are full of those things now. And that often can be super hard. If someone hurts me, I want to hurt them back. I want to use my words to be hurtful because that's how I've been feeling. But if I am planting bad things, that's what I'm going to reap. But if I'm planting good things, that's what I'm going to sow. And so we want to use our words for good and to come from seeing the good in others. And if we want to grow something different than what's been given to us, we've got to plant something different. If we want people to be kind to us, we got to show kindness to them. If we want to use the power of our words for good, we need to change what we plant. So I think right now this is a word that is really good for us to hear because just in the political climate and just I feel like everybody's just at each other right now and saying negative things and saying hurtful things and tearing each other down. But we can bring words that give life. So how do we do this? Think about the person or groups of people that you're most likely to have harsh or unkind words towards. Whether it's in a joking way or a hurtful way, ask yourself, what can I do to change that? And to start seeing them in a kind and loving way. Ask yourself, what was it that I said that was hurtful, or was it helpful? And if it's hurtful, we need to change what we're saying. And if it's helpful, we are planting words that bring life and truth and love in this world. And that's what Jesus wants for us. So when you get a text message that frustrates you, think about not responding right away. I am in this Facebook group, and oftentimes when someone says something rude or hurtful or that I disagree with, I want to clap back like right then. But when I take time to think and process and pray before I respond, I am going to respond in a totally different way. So when you get that text message that you don't love, take a minute, breathe before you say something, and ask God to help you respond in the most God-honoring way. Time is on our side. Buy yourself some time and give yourself time to think about what you want to say to that person. Get in the habit of planting encouraging words that build one another up. If what comes out of your mouth is sarcastic or rude, or you think you're trying to be funny, but maybe it's unkind or hurtful, think about what you say before you say it. The tongue is a really powerful thing. Our words have power. They can be positive and life-giving, or they can be death and not bring about the things that God desires for us. So if we want to make a change, we have to do more than change our words. We got to change our hearts. But because the change on the outside comes from the inside, that out of the overflow of the heart, the mouth speaks. What's going on inside of us is what's going to come out. So pay attention to your words and what you're planning. Are you planning life and truth? Are you planning negativity, hurtfulness, pain, and heartache? And if you're a follower of Jesus, this is more than just a good idea. This is what Jesus tells us to do if we're going to love and value and respect others. And the first place to start doing that is with our words. So imagine if you started caring about what you planted with your words. Imagine if your words were used by God to bring hope and healing to others and to plant kindness instead of harmful things. Your words are powerful. So let people who put that power in its proper place by using the words that God wants you to do, to be at your best and to do the thing that God desires the most out of you, is to use those words that He has given you to bring about life and truth. So here's to a week of powerful words that bring love and life and truth to those around you. We love you guys, and we hope that you will use your words this week to love others well. We will see you soon.